Burgess is one of the world's great writers, the author of some 40 works, the best known of which, I suppose, is his novel A Clockwork Orange. But Burgess's latest book is a celebration of the 100th anniversary of another British writer, D.H. Lawrence, the controversial author of, among others, Women in Love and Lady Chatterley's Lover. Burgess's book is called Flame into Being, and Lifetime reporter Tracy Alexander spoke with Anthony Burgess in New York.
It's not often Anthony Burgess visits New York, but this time he's here to talk about D.H. Lawrence. Anthony admired the famous author when he first read Lady Chatterley's Lover.
I think we all began to hear about Lady Chatterley's Lover when we were pubescent, when we were concerned about sex. And in those days, sex was still a forbidden zone of activity, and we didn't talk about it. We had to go to books for it, and one of the books we'd all heard about was Lady Chatterley, and also, of course, Joyce's Ulysses, and I think the third of the trilogy was The Well of Loneliness, which was about lesbian sex. These books were banned, so we went looking for them.
And you read them under the sheets?
We did indeed. I remember importing Ulysses from Nazi Germany. There was a German edition in English, which you had to tear to pieces and put in your socks, under your trousers when you were passing the customs. So in those days, it's very hard for this new generation to realize what it was like. There were certain books you could not get, and there was a kind of unholy mystery surrounding them. And Lady Chatterley's Lover was probably the greatest of these, the one which we knew dealt with sex very, very frankly and used certain forbidden words. And of course, the ban went on from 1930, the year of Lawrence's death, until 1960. We had 30 years of this. When the book was freed in 1960 and made available to people in England, and possibly here too in the Americas, we felt a new era was beginning. It was the era of sexual permissiveness.
In Flame into Being, Burgess declares that literature used to be the way into a forbidden world. Now it is all too open, and the mystery has departed.
Yes, well, of course, I think the new generation doesn't appreciate the mystery at all, and I wonder whether I, belonging to an older generation, I'm right in talking about the mystery. I mean, women, to me, are mysterious. The sexual encounter is a way in, to me, still, old as I am, to a zone of genuine mystery and contact with nature, contact with the ultimate. Whatever we say, it's not a casual thing. I mean, sex is too big a thing to approach casually. And Lawrence saw this. I think the whole point of Lady Chatterley's Lover was that the sexual relationship between man and woman was the most profound, produced the most profound revelation of the nature of life. The kids don't see it that way anymore. And, sexual permissiveness was the one thing that Lawrence would have been dead against if he'd known it. He was very puritanical in his approach to sex, believed in love. And I'm not sure nowadays whether young people are prepared to equate the two. Sex and love are, a whole thing. Sex without love is rather disgusting. Lawrence would have thought so. I think so.
Lawrence is best known for his book Lady Chatterley's Lover, which was taboo in its time and is still considered to be rather risque. You developed a reputation for A Clockwork Orange, and you feel that in both cases the public has really misjudged your talent as a writer and has focused on the wrong books.
A lot of us are in that situation. We're known for one book which is vaguely sensational and which causes a scandal, because people are like that. They like scandal. And God knows I've lived with the scandal of A Clockwork Orange already for a quarter of a century.
You wrote the screenplay.
The screenplay, there was no screenplay. But, you cannot externalize, you cannot put on the screen or on the stage the inner lives of people. These can only be really expressed in words. It's the job of the novelist, the poet, to use words to show reality. I don't think you can see reality in a visual form. Reality is very much a matter of words.
Burgess believes that writers must have a discipline and routine. He himself makes it a practice to write 1,000 words a day, going over and over them until they are just right. That's not what he calls inspiration. He says it's because of sheer laziness.
People who write a lot, as I do, are fundamentally lazy. H.G. Wells was the most prolific writer, I think, of our time, and he published every year 4 books. Sometimes 5. When he was asked how he could do this, he said, I am lazy. He said, I'm so lazy that I can't shift my arse from the seat. And as I'm sitting down, I might as well write. I'm in pretty much the same situation.
What kind of effect has your life outside of Britain had on your own career? Have you ever thought about coming to North America to live?
Very, very greatly tempted. I have lived in North America. I've taught at Princeton, and I've taught at City College, New York, and Columbia. But there came a moment 12 years ago when I was offered the post of Lionel Trilling, who had just died, and this was a great temptation. But consider what it would have meant. It would have meant that I'd be an academic for the rest of my life and no longer a novelist. It's as well to be a free writer if you can, and not be tied to any institution.